Hello once again. Myself Dr. Harshini, Associate Professor, MBA, Department SJPIT. Video number 3. Earlier 2 videos I covered few concepts in Module 1, Introduction to Indian Rural Marketing. And I included scope of rural marketing, concepts, classification, and background of rural marketing, its evolution, and also difference in rural and urban markets. Now in this video I'll be covering rural marketing environment. I'll try to cover the half of the portion under rural marketing environment in this video, which will be continued in the next video, the rest of them. Well, yes. So now before I get into challenges in rural marketing, let me just revise on the rural marketing, its objectives and opportunities, especially in rural marketing. Well, objectives of rural marketing, the primary objective of rural marketing are like they are providing access to products and service to rural consumers accordingly, and also they are increasing firms' revenue by fully tapping into rural market as per their potential. It's creating employment opportunity in rural areas to uplift the living standards of the people there. They are promoting a rural development by encouraging entrepreneurship among people there. Then the opportunities for rural marketing. Well, rural marketing presents several opportunities for firms, some of which have been like untapped market potential, growth potential, and low competition. Here, an untapped market potential, rural areas hold a lot of potential markets which can be catered to. And regarding growth potential, the growth prospects of rural market is very high as the people there are unaware of the use of certain goods. So if they are educated correctly, the demand will increase greatly. The low competition. The contest in the rural market is fairly low as they still need to be tapped. So this can be very good chance for the companies to enter and capture the market. Well, talking about the advantages and disadvantages of rural marketing, large untapped market potential is an advantage of rural marketing. This makes room for better sales, low competition. So this makes room for better capture of market and also creates loyal buyers. High growth potential. As the market is untapped, it makes this market more lucrative as compared to the urban markets. Then low marketing cost. As there is less competition, the promoters need not be run multiple times for recall. Indeed, just education will do the job. And talking about the disadvantages of rural marketing, limited infrastructure. That's the major drawback. Rural areas often need more infrastructure like roads, connectivity, electricity, telecom, which makes it difficult for firms to reach rural users. Limited access to information. Rural consumers usually need access to vital details, which makes it difficult for them to make informed purchasing decisions. So business need to invest in marketing strategies that are targeted towards rural consumers and are tailored to fulfill their needs and preferences. Cultural and linguistic barriers. That's a major drawback. Well, different areas have different languages, and so the native people communicate in unique ways with one another. So India is a very diverse nation. It is very difficult to make people using several languages understand the message and also with the same meaning. Limited distribution network. Rural areas often need an efficient and effective distribution network, making it difficult for business to reach consumer, especially rural consumers. So this happens due to need for proper infrastructure and roadways and also means for transport in these areas. Another drawback is seasonal demand. Well, the rural markets are sometimes different. They are driven by sales and so the demands are seasonal. Traditional outlook. People in rural areas are very traditional and so the products should not hurt the sentiments of people there. Inadequate media coverage for promotions. It is not easy to educate people about products and also make them aware of their benefits. Another drawback being slow purchasing decisions. Well, the people in rural areas are very skeptical, so the markets and purchase happens very slowly. Now, components of rural marketing includes product, price, place and promotion, Here, products means that cater to the specific needs and preferences of rural consumers. Products in rural marketing are majorly agricultural goods. Regarding price, offering products at price that is affordable for rural consumers, people targeted are low income group people, so the price of the good is also to be kept low. Regarding promotion, creating awareness about products and services through effective advertising and promotional activities. People need to be educated about the goods. And place, ensuring that products and services are easily accessible to rural consumers. Well, according to Kotlar, rural marketing is not limited to agriculture related products. It includes promoting and selling products and services that are required by rural consumers. It is about understanding the unique needs and preferences of rural consumers and providing them with products and services that meet their needs. Okay, then like methods of rural marketing. Before I get into the challenges in rural marketing, let me throw some light on methods of rural marketing. It includes direct marketing, rural huts, mobile vans, rural fairs and exhibition, digital marketing to some extent, if not exactly to that extent where we see in urban areas. Well, let me just explain you in detail regarding direct marketing. As the people in rural marketing are a low literacy rate, they need to be told about the usage of the product, and they need to be made aware of the necessity as it of it as well. So that is important. So direct marketing is one such method of rural marketing. Rural huts. Well, these huts are traditional markets that the local people are quite familiar with and are usually visited by any purchase. So these places can be used to market the goods and create awareness. Mobile vans. As transportation facilities are very limited in these areas, mobile vans are a very economical option for promotions. Rural fairs and exhibitions. So due to limited areas where people gather and can be educated about the products, the local fairs and exhibition can be used as areas where products can be displayed and advertised to capture a large audience. Digital marketing. Although people are not very educated, now everyone has access to a smartphone, which can be used as medium for promoters. Okay, then yes, now talking about challenges. Well, rural marketing, face a lot of challenges. That is no deprived people and deprived markets, lack of communication facilities, transport, mainly languages and dialects, dispersed markets, low per capita income, low levels of literacy, prevalence of spurious brands and seasonal brand, different way of thinking, warehousing problem in sales force management, distribution problem, etc. Well, deprived people and deprived markets, what does it mean? The number of people below poverty line has not decreased in any appreciable manner. Thus, poor people and consequently underdeveloped market characterize rural markets. A vast majority of rural people is tradition bound, and they also face problems such as inconsistent electric power, scarce infrastructure, an unreliable telephone system, and politico business association that hinder development offers. Lack of communication facilities. Well, even today, most villages in the country are inaccessible during the monsoon. A large number of villages in the country has no access to telephones. Other communication infrastructure is highly underdeveloped. And regarding transport, many rural areas are not connected by rail transport. Many roads have been poorly surfaced and got severe damage during monsoons. The use of bullock carts is inevitable even today. Camel carts are used in Rajasthan and Gujarat in both rural and urban sectors. Now, talking about languages and dialects, the languages and dialects vary from state to state, region to region, and probably from district to district. Since messages have to be delivered in the local language, it is difficult for the marketers to design promotional strategies for each of these areas. So facilities such as phone, telephone, fax are less developed in village, adding to communication problem. Low per capita income. Well, the per capita income of the rural people is low as compared to urban people. So demand in rural markets depends on agriculture situation, which in turn depends on the monsoon. So demand is not stable or regular. So the per capita income is low in villages compared to urban areas. Low level of literacy, as we all know, is low. Literacy is low compared to urban areas. This again leads to problem of communication in these rural areas. Print media becomes ineffective and to an extent irrelevant. Then regarding different ways of thinking, uh, well, there's a vast difference in the lifestyle of the people. The choice of brands that an urban customer enjoys is not available to the rural customer, who usually has 2 to 3 choices. As such, the rural customer has a fairly simple thinking, and their decisions are still governed by customs and traditions. Warehousing. Warehousing facility in the form of godowns are not available in rural India. The availability godown are not properly maintained to keep goods in proper condition. So this is a major problem, because of which warehousing cost increases in rural India. One more problem, that is problem in sales force management. Well, sales force is generally reluctant to work in rural areas. The languages and dialects vary from state to state, as I told you. So messages have to be delivered in local language. It's difficult for sales force to communicate with the rural consumer. Last but not the least, distribution problem. Well, effective distribution requires village level shopkeepers, taluk level wholesalers, dealers, district level stockists, distributors, and company owned depot at state level. So these many tiers increase cost of distribution. Rural markets typically signify complex logistical challenges that directly translate into high distribution costs. So bad roads, inadequate warehousing, and lack of good distributors pose as major problems to the marketers. Now, regarding the challenges in rural marketing. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, I think I discussed enough about challenges of rural marketing. Now coming to the rural market environment. Structure of rural market, as you can see, it's ironic that the census of India defines rural in the context of all that is not urban, considering that there were only villages before the development of cities and towns. So occupation pattern, of people is a segment naturally affects their buying behavior. So the daily wage earner has to account for variation in income, whereas a salary earner bring home an assured fixed amount and therefore can plan expenses in a better way. Talking about demographic profile, demographic profile of people in a segment naturally affect their buying behavior. So the wage earner and salary earner cannot be expected to behave in the same way. A daily wage earner has to account for variations in income, whereas a salary earner brings home an assured fixed amount and therefore can plan expenses in a better way. Regarding income generation, occupation, yes, and okay, let me. Okay, occupation pattern. Well, regarding occupation, as I discussed already, a daily wage earner has to account for variations in income, whereas salary earner bring home an assured fixed amount. And occupation pattern like farm labor, priests, blacksmiths, carpenters, barbers, shoemakers, all comes under different occupations in rural areas. Now, as I told you, these basic occupations that exist and which directly impact agro-related work. Location of rural population. Okay, regarding demographic profile of people in a segment naturally affected buying behavior. So it has been observed that majority of rural institutions, agri markets and rural banks are located in larger villages and towns up to 10,000 populations. So moreover, characteristics in terms of occupation, consumption and buying behavior change from rural to urban in locations of more than 10,000 population. Okay, now coming to expenditure pattern. Before that, let me talk about income generation. In the pattern of income generation in rural areas based on agriculture, that is seasonal and highly unreliable, unlike the fixed monthly income in the rural areas. So this created a consumption pattern that is quite different from the urban one. So the income generation can be by sale of agricultural produce, animal produce, services rendered by teachers, doctors or nurses, by interest on investment, government subsidies and grants, mortgage of properties and gold, charities and donations, labor, wages, like this, and so on. So location of rural population, it's been observed that majority of rural institutions, agri markets and rural banks are located in larger villages and town up to 10,000 population. Expenditure pattern, per capita consumption expenditure in rural has increased 4 times over the past 20 years according to survey. Rural spending in non-food items is increasing. And analyzing consumption pattern of non-food items of rural consumer, it's found that major share of spending goes to clothing, medical service, fuel needs, whereas urban consumers spend more on rentals, education and convenience. Literacy level and rural demand. A lower level of education in rural sector lead to little or low demand for a range of products such as literacy, books, magazines, notebooks, pen, pencils, drawing instruments, calculators, diaries, computers. But change is taking place because the literacy, literacy per retained in the rural sector has risen from 23% over the past 20 years. So products and brand awareness have increased and rural consumers have become more mature in purchase decision. Land distribution. Well, India has a large geographically land area of 3.288 million square kilometers. Land classification based on use, that is forest land, area covered by forest, uncultivable land, the land which includes land with tree crops. Cultivable wastes or permanent pastures are not fit for cultivation. Land not available for cultivation means land area used for human dwelling, industry areas, transport, that is road, military establishment, roads, railways, etc. And some part of cultivable land which consists of area under cultivation. This is nothing but irrigated land. And otherwise land distribution includes mountains, that is highlands, hills, plateaus, plains, etc. Regarding land use pattern. Land use pattern. Okay, I'll explain. Land use pattern. Land management is gaining importance because of increasing demand on land and growth of population. Change of mindset of common man towards ecology, increasing greenery, and that every square meters of land be used gainfully. Multi-stored building form part of city's landscape. Now there is a greater topic includes irrigation, which will be discussed in the next video. But here before that, talking about the rural market environment. Rural market environment means all those factors like demographic, physical, economic, social, etc., which affects the rural marketing. When rural activities are done in the rural areas, it is necessary to know the conditions of rural markets in terms of environment, which is ever changing. Rural market requires an understanding of rural environment in which companies have to operate to deliver products and services. Rural marketing structure includes various types of environment which are very important and to be understood by the markets who want to sell their products in the rural areas. Okay, so I hope you are clear with rural marketing environment regarding demographic environment, density of population. I spoke about rural housing and also household pattern. How is the rural household pattern? Well, it consists of family structure and housing pattern. In rural areas also, Indian traditional joint family system is slowly going down and the nuclear family culture is spreading like in the urban areas. Family structure, it's different type of family structure existing in demographic India. This broadly classified based on the number of households in a family under group names like joint family and nuclear family. And also we discussed about occupation pattern. Well, agriculture and allied activities are the main occupation for rural people. And allied activity includes horticulture, forestry, fishery, animal husbandry, floriculture, etc. The everyday needs of villagers are also met by many other types of occupation. So in rural sector, agri-based occupation can be like farm laborer, milkman, washerman, pot maker, blacksmith, barber, carpenter, cobbler, priest, weaver, as I already discussed, yes, here it is, and other rural occupation which are non-agriculture and support agriculture requirements, and the rural people in the daily life are village doctors, policemen, traditional village nurses, Anganwadi workers, teachers, peons. All these are comes under different types of basic occupations that are existing in the rural marketing. So yes, I think I made it clear of some concepts that we discussed in this video. Again, see you with some more explanation mainly regarding the irrigation. I'll be continuing in the next video. Thanks for watching.